Hello, family. All praises and blessings to Yahuwah, the Creator. We left off in the book of Jasher at chapter 74. So we will pick up there in the book of Jasher, chapter 74, verse 1. In the end of years, Saul, king of Edom, died, and Baal, Chanaan, the son of Akbar, reigned in his place. 2. In the 16th year of the reign of Moses over Cush, Canaan, the son of Akbar, reigned in the land of Edom over all the children of Edom for 38 years. 3. In his days, Moab rebelled against the power of Edom, having been under Edom since the days of Hadad, the son of Bedad, who struck them and Midian and brought Moab under subjection to Edom. 4. And when Chanaan, the son of Akbar, reigned over Edom, all the children of Moab withdrew their allegiance from Edom. 5. Angeas, king of Africa, died in those days, and Asdrubal, his son, reigned in his stead. 6. And in those days, Janius, king of the children of Chittim, died, and they buried him in his temple, which he had built for himself in the plain of Canopia, for a residence. Latinus reigned in his stead. 7. Excuse me, family. In the 22nd year of the reign of Moses over the children of Cush, Latinus reigned over the children of Chittim 45 years. 8. And he also built for himself a great and mighty tower. He built therein an elegant temple for his residence, to conduct his government as was the custom. 9. In the 3rd year of his reign, he caused an announcement to be made to all his skillful men who made many ships for him. 10. And Latinus assembled all his forces, and they came in ships, and went there to fight with Asdrubal, son of Angeas, king of Africa. They came to Africa and engaged in battle with Asdrubal and his army. 11. And Latinus won over Asdrubal. And Latinus took from Asdrubal the aqueduct which his father had brought from the children of Chittim. When he took Jania, the daughter of Uzi, for a wife, so Latinus overthrew the bridge of the aqueduct and struck the whole army of Asdrubal's a severe blow. 12. The remaining strong men of Asdrubal strengthened themselves, and their hearts were filled with envy. They courted death, and again engaged in battle in Latinus, king of Chittim. 13. The battle was severe on all the men of Africa, and they all fell wounded before Latinus and his people. And Asdrubal the king also fell in that battle. 14. The king Asdrubal had a very beautiful daughter, whose name was Ushpezinza. I'm sorry, I gotta butch that one. Let's see, it's Ushpezina. Ushpezina. Pezena. Ushpezena. And all the men of Africa embroidered her likeness on their garment on account of her great beauty and attractive appearance. 15. The men of Latinus saw Ushpezena, the daughter of Asdrubal, and praised her to Latinus, their king. 16. And Latinus ordered her to be brought to him. Latinus took Ushpezena for a wife, and he turned back on his way to Chittim. 17. It was after the death of Asdrubal, son of Angeas, when Latinus had turned back to his land from the battle, that all the inhabitants of Africa rose up and took Anibal, the son of Angeas, the younger brother of Asdrubal, and made him king instead of his brother over the whole land of Africa. 18. And when he reigned, he resolved to go to Chittim to fight with the children of Chittim, to avenge the cause of Asdrubal his brother, and the cause of the inhabitants of Africa, and he did so. 19. He made many ships, and he came there with his whole army, and he went to Chittim. 20. So Anibal fought with the children of Chittim, and the children of Chittim fell wounded before Anibal and his army. And Anibal avenged his brother's death, his brother's cause. 21. And Anibal continued the war for 18 years with the children of Chittim. And Anibal lived in the land of Chittim and encamped there for a long time. 22. Anibal struck the children of Chittim very severely, and he killed their great men and princes. And the rest of the people he struck about 80,000 men. 23. And at the end of days and years, Anibal returned to his land of Africa, and he reigned securely in the place of Asdrubal, his brother. And that's the end of chapter 74. We'll pick up chapter 75, verse 1. At that time, in the 180th year of the Israelites going down into Egypt, there went forth from Egypt courageous men, 30,000 on foot, from the children of Israel, who were all of the tribe of Joseph, of the children of Ephraim, the son of Joseph. 2. For they said the period was completed, which the Lord had appointed to the children of Israel in the times of old, which he had spoken to Abraham. 3. And these men prepared themselves, and each man put his sword on his side, and every man his armor on him, and they trusted to their strength. They went out together from Egypt with a mighty hand. 4. But they brought no provisions for the road, only silver and gold. Not even did they bring bread for that day in their hands, for they thought of getting their provisions for pay from the Philistines. If not, they would take it by force. 5. These men were very mighty and bold. One man could pursue 1,000, and two could rout 10,000. So they trusted their strength and went together as they were. 6. They directed their course toward the land of Gath, and they went down and found the shepherds of Gath feeding the cattle of the children of Gath. 7. They said to the shepherds, "Give us some of the sheep for pay that we may eat, for we are hungry. We have eaten no bread this day." 8. And the shepherds said, "Are they our sheep or cattle that we should give them to you even for pay?" So the children of Ephraim approached to take them by force. 9. And the shepherds of Gath shouted over them, so their cry was heard at a distance. All the children of Gath went out to them. 10. When the children of Gath saw the evil doings of the children of Ephraim, they returned and assembled the men of Gath. They put on each man his armor and came forth to the children of Ephraim for battle. 11. And they engaged with them in the valley of Gath, and the battle was severe. They struck from each other a great many on that day. 12. And on the second day, the children of Gath sent to all the cities of the Philistines, that they should come to their help, saying, 13, "Come up to us and help us, that we may strike the children of Ephraim, who have come forth from Egypt to take our cattle, and to fight against us without cause." 14. And the souls of the children of Ephraim were exhausted with hunger and thirst, for they had eaten no bread for 3 days. 40,000 men went out from the cities of the Philistines to the assistance of the men of Gath. 15. These men were engaged in battle with the children of Ephraim, and the Lord delivered the children of Ephraim into the hands of the Philistines. 16. They struck all the children of Ephraim, all who had gone forth from Egypt. None were remaining but 10 men who had run away from the engagement. 17. This evil was from the Lord against the children of Ephraim, for they went contrary to the word of the Lord in going forth from Egypt, before the period had arrived which the Lord in the days of old had appointed to Israel. 18. And of the Philistines also there fell a great many, about 20,000 men, and their brothers carried them and buried them in their cities. 19. And the slain of the children of Ephraim remained forsaken in the valley of Gath for many days and years, and were not brought to burial. And the valley was filled with men's bones. 20. The men who had escaped from the battle came to Egypt and told all the children of Israel all that had happened to them. 21. Their father Ephraim mourned over them for many days, and his brothers came to console him. 22. And he came to his wife, and she gave birth to a son. And he called his name Beriah, for she was unfortunate in his house. That's the end of chapter 75. We will pick up chapter 76, the book of Jasher. Chapter 76, verse 1. Moses, the son of Amram, was still king in the land of Cush in those days, and he prospered in his kingdom. He conducted the government of the children of Cush in justice, in righteousness, and integrity. 2. And all the children of Cush loved Moses all the days that he reigned over them. And all the inhabitants of the land of Cush were greatly afraid of him. 3. In the 40th year of the reign of Moses over Cush, Moses was sitting on the royal throne while Adoniah, the queen, was before him, and all the nobles were sitting around him. 4. And Adoniah, the queen, said before the king and the princes, "What is this thing which you, the children of Cush, have done for this long time?" 5. Certainly you know that for 40 years that this man has reigned over Cush, he has not approached me, nor has he served the gods of the children of Cush. 6. Now therefore hear, O ye children of Cush, and let this man no more reign over you, as he is not of our people. 7. Behold, Menacrus, my son, is grown up. Let him reign over you, for it is better for you to serve the son of your Lord than to serve a stranger, slave of the king of Egypt. 8. And all the people and nobles of the children of Cush heard the words which Adoniah the queen had spoken in their ears. 9. All the people were preparing until the evening, and in the morning they rose up early and made Menacrus, son of Kikianus, king over them. 10. All the children of Cush were afraid to stretch forth their hand against Moses. For the Lord was with Moses, and the children of Cush remembered the oath which they swore to Moses. Therefore they did no harm to him. 11. But the children of Cush gave many presents to Moses, and sent him from them with great honor. 12. So Moses went forth from the land of Cush, and went home, and ceased to reign over Cush. Moses was 66 years old when he went out of the land of Cush. For the thing was from the Lord, for the period had arrived which he had appointed in the days of old, to bring forth Israel from the affliction of the children of Ham. 13. So Moses went to Midian, for he was afraid to return to Egypt on account of Pharaoh. And he went and sat at a well of water in Midian. 14. And the 7 daughters of Reuel the Midianite went out to feed their father's flock. 15. And they came to the well and drew water to water their father's flock. 16. But the shepherds of Midian came and drove them away. And Moses rose up and helped them and watered the flock. 17. And they came home to their father Reuel and told him what Moses did for them. 18. They said, "An Egyptian man has delivered us from the hands of the shepherds. He drew up water for us and watered the flock." 19. And Reuel said to his daughters, "And where is he? Why have you left the man?" 20. And Reuel sent for him and fetched him and brought him home, and he ate bread with him. 21. And Moses related to Reuel that he had fled from Egypt, and that he reigned 40 years over Cush, and that they afterward had taken the government from him and had sent him away in peace, with honor and with presents. 22. And when Reuel had heard the words of Moses, Reuel said within himself, "I will put this man into the prison house, whereby I shall win over the children of Cush, for he has fled from them. 23. They took and put him into the prison house, and Moses was in prison 10 years. While Moses was in the prison house, Zipporah, the daughter of Reuel, took pity on him and supported him with bread and water all the time. 24. All the children of Israel were yet in the land of Egypt, serving the Egyptians in all the manner of hard work. And the hand of Egypt continued in severity over the children of Israel in those days. 25. At that time the Lord struck Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and he was afflicted with the plague of leprosy from the sole of his foot to the crown of his head. Owing to the cruel treatment of the children of Israel, this plague at this time was from the Lord on Pharaoh, king of Egypt. 26. For the Lord had listened to the prayers of his people, the children of Israel, and for their cry reached him on account of their hard work. 27. Still his anger did not turn from them, and the hand of Pharaoh was still stretched out against the children of Israel. Pharaoh hardened his neck before the Lord. He increased his yoke over the children of Israel and embittered their lives with all manner of hard work. 28. When the Lord had inflicted the plague on Pharaoh, king of Egypt, he asked his wise men and sorcerers to cure him. 29. And his wise men and sorcerers said to him that if the blood of little children were put into the wounds, he would be healed. 30. Pharaoh listened to them and sent his ministers to Goshen to the children of Israel to take their little children. 31. And Pharaoh's ministers went and took the infants of the children of Israel from the bosoms of their mothers by force. And they brought them to Pharaoh daily, a child each day. And the physician killed them and applied them to the plague. Thus they did all the days. And this is our family they're killing. Our infants. 32. And the number of the children which Pharaoh killed was 375. 33. But the Lord listened not to the physicians of the king of Egypt. And the plague went on increasing mightily. 34. Pharaoh was 10 years afflicted with that plague. Still, the heart of Pharaoh was more hardened against the children of Israel. 35. At the end of 10 years, the Lord continued to afflict Pharaoh with destructive plagues. 36. And the Lord struck him with a bad tumor and sickness in the stomach, and that plague turned to a severe boil. 37. At that time, the two ministers of Pharaoh came from the land of Goshen, where all the children of Israel were, and went to the house of Pharaoh and said to him, We have seen the children of Israel slacken their work and neglect in their labor. 38. And when Pharaoh heard the words of his ministers, his anger was set ablaze against the children of Israel greatly, for he was greatly grieved at his bodily pain. 39. And he answered and said, Now that the children of Israel know that I am ill, they turn and scoff at us. Now therefore, harness my chariot for me, and I will take myself to Goshen, and will see the scoff of the children of Israel with which they are deriding me. So his servants harnessed the chariot for him. 40. And they took and made him ride on a horse, for he was not able to ride of himself. 41. He took with him 10 horsemen and 10 footmen, and went to the children of Israel to Goshen. 42. When they had come to the border of Egypt, the king's horse passed into a narrow place, elevated in the hollow part of the vineyard, fenced on both sides, the low plain country being on the other side. 43. The horses ran rapidly in that place and pressed each other, and the other horses pressed the king's horse. 44. And the king's horse fell into the low plain while the king was riding on it. He fell, and the chariot turned over the king's face, and the horse lay on the king. And the king cried out, for his flesh was very sore. 45. And the flesh of the king was torn from him, and his bones were broken, and he could not ride. This thing was from the Lord to him, our Lord, our Father. For the Lord had heard the cries of his people, the children of Israel, and their affliction. 46. And his servants carried him on their shoulders, slowly and carefully. And they brought him back to Egypt. And the horsemen who were with him also came back to Egypt. 47. They placed him in his bed, and the king knew that his end was come to die. So Aparanith, the queen, his wife, came and cried before the king, and the king wept a great weeping with her. And all 48, and all his nobles and servants came on that day and saw the king in that affliction, and wept a great weeping with him. 49. The princes of the king and all his counselors advised the king to cause one to reign in his stead in the land, whomever he would choose from his sons. 50. The king had 3 sons and 2 daughters, which Aparanith, the queen, his wife, had borne to him, besides the king's children of concubines. 51. And these were their names: the firstborn, Othri, the second, Adikam, and the third, Morian, and their sisters. The name of the elder, Bathia, and of the other, Akuzi. 52. Othri, the firstborn of the king, was an idiot, impious, and hurried in his words. 53. But Adikam was a cunning and wise man, and knowing in all the wisdom of Egypt, but of unseemly appearance, thick in flesh, and very short in stature. His height was 1 cubit. 54. And when the king saw Adikam, his son, intelligent and wise in all things, the king resolved that he should be king in his stead after his death. 55. He took for him a wife, Jedudah, daughter of Abilat, and he was 10 years old. She gave birth to him 4 sons. 56. And afterward he went and took 3 wives, and had 8 sons and 3 daughters. 57. And the disorder greatly consumed the king, and his flesh stank like the flesh of a carcass cast on the field in summertime, during the heat of the sun. 58. And when the king saw that the sickness had greatly strengthened itself over him, he ordered his son Adikam to be brought to him, and they made him king over the land in his place. 59. At the end of 3 years, the king died in shame, disgrace, and disgust, and his servants carried him and buried him in the sepulchre of the kings of Egypt in Zon, Mizraim. 60. But they embalmed him not, as was usual with kings, for his flesh was putrid, and they could not approach to embalm him on account of the stench. So they buried him in haste. 61. For this evil was from the Lord to him, for the Lord had rewarded him evil for the evil which in his days he had done to Israel, our family. 62. And he died with terror and with shame, and his son Adikam reigned in his place. That's the end of chapter 76. Thank you for your understanding and listening, family.